It's refreshment time, folks.
Taste that beats the others cold. Pepsi pours it on. Taste that beats the others cold. Pepsi pours it on.
But done! It's refreshment time!
Hungry? How about a hearty Castleberry's pit-cooked barbecue sandwich? Castleberry's has the smoky, savory goodness you get only with the finest lean chunks of meat, slow-cooked over a real barbecue pit to seal in the succulent juices, and braised with a zesty barbecue sauce. No wonder Castleberry's pit-cooked barbecue sandwiches have such a luscious flavor. Great with soft drinks, French fries, and other fine snacks. Visit our snack bar now and ask for Castleberry's pit-cooked barbecue sandwiches.
October is National Movie Month, when the best of the newest movies will be shown at your favorite theater. Join the world and share the romance, color, adventure, hilarity, excitement, and splendor that spell movies during National Movie Month. Be here in October. It's National Movie Month.
Jim Rex? What's Jim Rex? Would you believe a movie audience guide presented as a public service by this theater's management to help you select your motion picture entertainment? Well, that's what it is. And we urge you to learn these rating symbols and use them as a guide for you and your family. G means suggested for general audiences, all ages. M, suggested for mature audiences, parental discretion advised. R, restricted, persons under 16 not admitted unless accompanied by parent or adult guardian. X, persons under 16 will not be admitted. This seal in advertising indicates that the film was approved under the Motion Picture Code of Self-Regulation.
The new movie sensation that's stunning the world. The martial arts masterpiece. Sights and sounds like never before. Cheer the young warrior who alone takes on the evil warlords of martial arts. See one incredible onslaught after the other. Come prepared for the thrill of a lifetime.
I want you to pay a visit to the Xiangwu School of Defense.
Who do you want us to kill?
Just you concentrate on the leaders. The others won't give us any trouble.
See acts of incredible savagery. Incredibly deadly. Unbelievably vicious. See the astonishing ritual of the fires. Pale before the forbidden ritual of the steel palm. See mighty warriors attack each other with the most deadly weapons ever developed, their bare hands.
challenge champions in a deadly sport that turned brave men into killers.
Exactly 14 minutes left.
I'm afraid the old place is going up.
So you heard about Amsterdam?
Yeah. Some mistake.
28 square miles of white ash.
Civilization's about to blow itself apart.
Stop it! Don't look at the light! And move!
Pray that out of this world of anarchy and hysteria, some supreme being will emerge. A new Messiah, born of the age of science.
Has that Messiah been born yet, I wonder?
What is more important, who will recognize him if he has?
Produce an all-purpose human being, an hermaphrodite, immortal. Can't you feel our bodies merging? We shall be the new Messiah.
The twilight of the gods.
Or humanity.
Or both.
The ultimate in science fiction, rated R.
At last, science fiction creates the ultimate man, Inframan. And a motion picture creates the ultimate spectacle. Adventure beyond your wildest imagination with the man beyond bionics. 6 million light years beyond believability. Is he man or machine? Electronic circuits integrated with living cells in the living body of a man. Powered by nuclear energy. Inframan. You won't believe your eyes. You won't believe your ears. You won't believe your mind. Now, Joseph Brenner brings you the most advanced product of bionic science, towering above them all. Thunderbolt fists. Rocket feet. Can Inframan survive heat that melts rock? Cold that freezes fire? Is Inframan a match for men of steel? A motion picture that will stagger your imagination. Inframan, the ultimate in science fiction.
The year 2000. America is a vast speedway. People line the streets to witness the greatest drivers on Earth in a race from sea to shining sea.
This is a death race.
You finish first, or not at all. Death Race 2000. Every car a deadly weapon. Every spectator a potential point. It's a cross-country road wreck, and the traffic is murder.
Who are you, anyway?
Best driver on Earth.
I don't want you to die.
He was built by the world's finest surgeons to drive the fastest car ever designed, and nothing can stop him now. Death Race 2000, rated R.
How old are you?
15?
Imagine that.
It was the fabulous 60s. A time of prosperity. Intellectual women, fast cars, fast food, and a high school.
Kessler? What? Do you have a pass? You got me.
Chicken on the run, up yours!
This is a chronicle of that era.
Oh, Dave, you have to find a place. A safe place.
A safe place?
The Chicken Chronicles.
You come to me, your brother, to find a place to take your girlfriend?
Who's there?
A story of feelings
You want to see?
and emotions.
Women! All women! Because I love women, short, fat, old. I want them all.
A pulsating view of what really happened.
Oh!
An intricate look at the young lives of tomorrow's society.
Margaret.
Their hopes.
I'm alone.
Their fears.
It's a quarter of an inch too long.
Their work. Their play.
Say hello to Margaret for us!
Their leaders. And their friends.
It's your uncooperative attitude. Not liking school is uncooperative?
It was a time of budding young romances and strong family relationships.
Dave,
When did you have this fixed?
you can't keep disconnecting your intercom, Dave.
Mom, all I want is a little privacy, huh?
A chance to expand into new areas.
Get me, Kessler!
And leave a lasting impression on those you leave behind.
Ready, set.
Yes, it was a very special moment in time,
Listen, I forgot something.
best remembered by history for its contribution to the party.
Ta-da! Outrageous! Oh, I thought it'd impress you. You took a 14-year-old ravishing hooker to the senior prom?
Kiss me.
These wonderful people, those wild events, in these uncompromising chronicles.
Oh, yeah?
The Chicken Chronicles, in the spirit of '69.
Nobody will be in or out?
Nova.
I don't know.
I promise it's foolproof. David!
Hi, Mom.
Naked Ape. Is it you? From the worldwide bestseller by Desmond Morris, some startling answers.
Hey, Sergeant, did you know that your facial and vocal expressions were developed by the hunting ape more than 2 million years ago?
The naked truth about you, man. Can you take it?
Did you know monkeys and apes don't fall in love?
I keep forgetting. You know, we could be arrested.
We? It's your fantasy.
The naked truth about love. Courtship. Cheating. The raw, basic drives under the veneer. The naked truth about jealousy. Violence. And the laughs on you.
It's quite wild, part of the old reward system. Do you understand?
I do.
Well, I don't.
Finger paint me. I'll finger paint you.
A hilarious peek behind civilization's fig leaf. The naked ape is only human.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this corner, presenting Tim Conway and Don Knotts. The story of two men and their climb to the championship.
You think you ought to get up first?
Will you just shut up?
Lefty, you're right.
In the 30s, these men won the respect of the boxing world.
That was really sting.
Shake, the trainer, had all the surprise punches.
This is a surprise.
Bags was his experienced fighter.
He's on your foot.
He had the desire, concentration, and direct aim. It took rigid conditioning. Bags was proud to stand on his own 2 feet. Could they avoid loose women who followed the fight game?
Oh, get away from me, you little slimy, mole-faced degenerate. Before I step on your creepy body and squash you with the rest of the slugs around this thumb.
Oh, would you like to dance?
Can they win for the kid who built a dream around them?
You think you can take the butcher?
Bluebird Blue?
One person stood in their way, the butcher.
It's the clown that creased my perfect face.
Can Bags take the champ?
It's gonna leave that ring on a stretcher.
Follow these punching pals to the title bout.
What? Murder out there.
What is he doing in here?
You're in the wrong corner. They ought to have signs.
Tim Conway, Don Knotts. Starring in The Prize Fighter, a knockout comedy.
So together, let's begin it, and I will be there with you.
Here come the losers. Killers by instinct, mercenaries by profession.
Chet Davis is in one of these 3 huts. We don't know which one. There's 2 small trails leading into here. That's why you need the bikes. Speed's all you got going for you.
The bread, man.
I'm a full-blooded American boy, Captain. Just love me.
The Losers.
That's a genuine gook flattener. Man, you just roll over them, flatten them out, dry them, sail them off.
The Losers.
New breed, reckless and violent on a collision course with the establishment. Headed for hell on chop-down hogs. Hating each other, but hating the establishment more.
Listen, Charlie, we've had enough of your kind of help.
You black animal!
Yeah, a panther, honky.
Black Angels, a pack of snarling wolves in a fury of burning rubber and blood. Crashing head-on with brutal fury, soaking the streets with blood.
Push me, Chainer.
Why not? You push me, you push us, you push everybody.
Don't play games, huh?
A wild bunch of women, untamed and shameless, turning on for kicks. Black Angels, grabbing every kick along the way.
Yeah, I'm a new shade of black.
I'll bust you wide open.
You ain't busting nobody, Whitey.
Thundering hordes of bikers clashing head-on in the most violent bike movie ever filmed.
You slumming dimple.
Black Angels exploding out of the slums, slamming into the establishment. See the Black Angels soaring across the screen in an unforgettable drama of raging anger. Breaking out on wheels. Danger is their life. Death their destiny. Black Angels, savage, brutal, fierce. Don't visit American International Pictures. Rated R, restricted, under 17, requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
They call him Angel. He's a dropout from a tough sickle club. A gang that lives, loves, and hunts trouble. A man searching for himself and finding others searching for themselves.
It takes a long, long time before you calm down all the way.
They reached for a new way of life, but some people didn't want them.
Dave, I didn't know we were gonna bulldog no pigs here today.
or we'll run you into the dirt.
Need a favor, man. I thought maybe you and some of the boys might show them how, you know?
personal question.
I wish you would.
How did a nice boy like you get involved with a group like the Heads?
I turned to them after I was rejected by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
I can't touch lose. If I do, I'll lose my baby. Baby, why don't you give me everything I want in this real love? My love, baby. Ooh, take me on home, my head,
End of the Road is one of the best films of the last 10 years, says Show Magazine. Based on the best-selling novel by John Barth.
This may sound somewhat theatrical to you, but would you mind telling me where I can go for $58.75?
End of the Road demands to be seen, says Newsweek.
You don't know nothing, baby. You shouldn't do that. I just might kill you.
We see what happened.
End of the Road challenges the Hollywood system.
Sorry I'm late. I had a delivery to make at Boy Scout HQ.
Well, Rennie, you know I told you never to apologize.
I'm sorry.
End of the Road is where all things come together.
Let there be no horse crap between teachers of English.
End of the Road is where love and violence meet.
Get lost, creep.
End of the Road is your environment.
Miss Gibson, there is a time and a place for everything.
If you think marriages are made in heaven, if you think black is white and white is black.
Joe made me come up. I told him how we made love in minute detail.
Go ahead. Pull it. Pull it, you son of a bitch. Are you crazy, you big baboon?
Baboon. If you think the 60s said it all, if you think you're up against it, you haven't come to the end of the road.
Oh, Jesus!
Don't worry about me. I'll get along. Be happy, my love. Let's say that our little show is over, and so the story ends.
Now that we have your attention, a few words from the Stiegel.
Ibu aband mobi hobav bobin kaband.
Right! Grobater the ben spobika, spobanger, mobig sabik, spobig trebane. Kabampi, Jabaki, Yobet, Obeben the B, Bo Bambino.
Richard Benjamin is the Stiegel. Like most men, he has a job, a wife,
Where are you going?
a family.
What are you looking for?
And problems.
Cuba, the Russians, the Yellow Peril.
Like most men, he has fantasies.
Strike me
And memories.
I love you. I will never forget you.
So what makes the Steagle different? He does what most men only dream about.
Oh, yeah! Yeah!
He takes off and leaves himself behind.
Hal Winters from New York. George Guynemer Jr. from Paris. I'm Robert Hardy.
Any relation to Judge Hardy?
I'm his son.
He goes where he's always wanted to go. He says what he's always wanted to say.
What was that, Harold?
Oh, you heard me, Payne. You are.
He does what he's always wanted to do.
Chung, baby, chung.
I've never cheated on Fred.
Uh-huh.
In 8 years.
Well,
Let's see it!
how'd you two girls like to have dinner with me tonight?
Oh, I'd love it. You think you can handle two of us?
I can try.
How, darling? I'm Lawrence. I'm taking you, Marcy.
I'm Lawrence. I'm taking... Who's Lawrence?
Lawrence of Arabia, sailor.
What's a Steagle? Isn't it obvious?
For buck, you boo! Oh, ball!
Richard Benjamin as the Steagle.
Goofy gal, you're always on the search for someone new. Then telling everybody what you've done.
It really gets to you. Like you dig the whole scene. The groups, the crowds. I mean, like you want it to go on forever. You meet a cat and you think, well, the world is beautiful.
It must be because of you. It's really strange.
That's not strange, that's where it's at.
But if it ain't him, it's another cat, another group. But that's the way it's gotta be, because I am a groupie.
You know, I wasn't quite sure if you were real or not. I mean, I thought I might have imagined it all or something.
Who the hell are you? I'm a police officer, and I have a warrant to search these premises. Fast!
Feeling better then?
They're dead, aren't they? You killed him!
You're a groupie, and groupies get used. And then when they're not needed, they're thrown away.
One sunny summer day, 154 people set off across America. The result? Medicine Ball Caravan. Medicine Ball Caravan. It's a trip.
San Francisco, Mono Lake. Warm Springs, Zion National Park.
Jacob Lake, Pleasant Valley.
I just had a great thought. We may be dubbing the toilet as we go along.
On the front bus, we have the sign that we have just written on carelessly today, but we'll do more elaborately tomorrow. It just says, "We have come for your daughters."
Gallup, Placitas, Sioux City, Moline, Yellow Springs.
I'm the king of the world. I'm a king, I just eat and sleep. I don't do nothing but eat and sleep. I'm a hobo.
Pueblo, Boulder, Kearney.
I'm a cowboy. Not a Hollywood cowboy, I'm a real cowboy. I just happened by, but I really enjoy these people.
What do you call these people with long hair? What do you call them?
Well, I don't have a name for them. I think maybe they're rebels, like myself.
What's your hobby?
Women.
Claude Chabrol's The Butcher rivets you to your seat.
This is how I killed them. With this.
The Butcher rivets you to your seat.
Do you know what it's like to be trapped in a nightmare?
Rated PG.
The greatest single moment in rock music lasted for a solid week. The city was San Francisco. The place was Fillmore.
One of the rights of a producer that he chooses the shows he wants to put on. And these are the shows I've decided to put on. I've never seen your band.
Bill Graham, the wild, unpredictable landlord of the mecca for today's music.
Take your teeth out of your mouth and shove them through your nose.
Fillmore. Bill Graham conceived it, controlled it, and now he's closing it. But before he does, he's going to throw a little party for his friends. Friends like Elvin Bishop, Boz Scaggs, Cold Blood,
How weak I knew how to feel to be free.
It's a Beautiful Day, and the Grateful Dead.
That's correct. For the next 3 hours, you'll be hearing soundtracks, show tunes, television themes, all the music you've gradually grown to trust over the course of several generations. And because CineQuest is coming up starting on Tuesday night, we're going to be talking to some filmmakers that have some interesting films that will be coming to CineQuest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the best music you ever saw. Music right there from Red Letter Day, which played at Cinequest back in 2019. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. Good morning. I'm your host, Robert Emmett. We started off this morning with music by Bernard Herrmann from On Dangerous Ground. John Debney did music to Luck and the Cue Chasing the Cat, and the finale right there from Red Letter Day. Well, this is going to be a big day at KFJC. We've got a couple of filmmakers that we'll be talking to at different parts of the show this morning. And the Cinequest comes up on Tuesday night and goes for a couple of weeks. And it's also exciting because this afternoon, Black Violet will be playing live in the Pit. Dr. Doug and Carson Street are co-hosting. I know Carson Street's a big fan of Black Violet. She's the front person for the darts, and she'll be presenting kind of another side of her musical stuff. The darts are kind of straight-ahead rock, and this afternoon she'll be doing a kind of mellow jazz trip-hop music. So it says from noon until 3, so we'll take them at that and say that that Carson Street hosts Black Violet in the Pit at noon. Well, let's play some more music. Did you know that Ennio Morricone wrote music for Space 1999? He did. And here's part of it on your source for sound, KFJC.
Mr. Belvedere won't be seen tonight. Uh-oh. But will return in 2 weeks at its regular time.
Oh, great.
Now, stay tuned for the following special presentation.
This is the house that Hal Johnson built.
Music right there by John Williams, and that's from Jaws 2. That's right, Jaws 2. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. I'm your host, Robert Emmett. We also heard that sort of noisy jazz piece that would not be what you'd expect to go with a science fiction film, but there you are. That was for Space 1999. Ennio Morricone did a soundtrack, and they put it out. So there you go. Well, you know, there's lots of movies that are going on and film festivals. As a matter of fact, this weekend it is the Hitchcock Festival, which is over in Scotts Valley. It's at the Scotts Valley Performing Arts Center at 251B King Village Road in Scotts Valley. And it's today and tomorrow. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, they'll be showing Family Plot, which was the last Hitchcock film, which has a score by John Williams, by the way. And then at 8:30 tonight, they'll be showing North by Northwest. In between, they're having people doing presentations about Hitchcock and about different movies. And, of course, Hitchcock lived in Scotts Valley for many years. And then Sunday, tomorrow, they'll also have some more presentations and follow that up with at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, they'll be showing Rope. So if you want to find out more about the Hitchcock Festival, you can go to hitchcockfestival.org. hitchcockfestival.org. Playing today and tomorrow at the Scotts Valley Performing Arts Center in Scotts Valley. Well, let's play some music from North by Northwest. What a great excuse for that. On your source for sound, KFJC. Music right there from the Cinequest movie Biomass, and that was Zombie Blast. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. I'm your host, Robert Emmett, and since Cinequest is starting next week, we're going to be talking to some filmmakers, and the first up is Helen Zhu and Evan Ho, who are both the stars of a comedy called Comedy Family Style, and that is the U.S. premiere that plays at Cinequest, and it will be Saturday, March 14th at 2:45 at the Alamo Brew House in Mountain View, and then again on Thursday, March 19th at 7:15. So, Helen and Evan, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us, Robert. We're very excited.
So, why don't you give us a little background about, so tell us a little bit about what Comedy Family Style is about.
Yeah, so the Comedy Family Style movie, it's a documentary about a mother-son comedian, a pair of mother-son comedians connecting through doing comedy here in the Bay Area, but also doing comedy back in Beijing, where that's the mother's hometown. And in this trip brings back a lot of memories, the mom's upbringing, trying to get the child to connect to his grandparents' roots, and lots of conversations around privilege, modern-day parenting, and figuring out, how do you maintain connection while trying to pass on legacy as a parent. I know I'm using third person, but that pair is actually myself and my son.
Yeah, and so Evan, you're 10 years old, right?
I'm 12, actually.
Oh, you're 12. Okay. Well, and you're already doing stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I'm doing some stand-up
Uh-huh.
with my mom.
Uh-huh. So that's I think it's really interesting because most kids are involved in doing stuff like sports or things like that. But I think it's an interesting choice that you're doing stand-up comedy. But of course, you're being coached by your mom, and we get to see part of that in the film, don't we?
Yep, we do.
Yeah. So Helen, you are also the CEO of a business, but you have, I guess, comedy in your heart. How did you decide that you wanted to start doing stand-up yourself?
Yeah, so when I always enjoyed watching stand-up on TV when I was little. This is back in China and also here in the U.S. But and I also, in my 20s, I gave a lot of wedding speeches that I spent a lot of time preparing for. And afterwards, the guests always asked me if I did stand-up. So when I did come across some free time, this is like maybe 10 years ago, I just decided to try an open mic and see how it goes. And I ended up getting booked on shows pretty quickly after starting that journey. And so I just kept it on as a hobby until I decided to take some time off work and pursue it full-time for a couple of years. That was really fun. Comedy is a really great career if you don't plan on making any money. So.
Well, that's I guess that's, how do you make a large fortune in comedy? I'm sorry. How do you make a small fortune in comedy? Start with a large fortune. So, Helen Zhu is the director and writer, and Evan is also featured in Comedy Family Style, a Cinequest feature, which is going to have its U.S. premiere on Saturday, March 14th at the Alamo Brew House. How did you decide to make this film? I mean, what made you want to do a documentary about yourself and Evan?
Yeah, so our initial endeavor was actually to film a comedy special, which is pretty common with comedians that want to start to headline and tour. So in search of a director to direct our comedy special, we came across a documentary filmmaker who was happy to do our comedy special, but also encouraged us to make a documentary out of it as a add-on project. And we thought that would be fun. And during the production process, what started off with a short film project ended up expanding to a feature. But yeah, it was definitely serendipitous that we came across this project.
And so that it does have some short sequences of comedy. It has a lot of you and Evan just talking with each other, talking about things in life, talking about putting comedy together. What made you decide to go that direction?
Yeah, we thought that in the documentary, at first we thought that just filming our travels together might be interesting enough about a mother and son. And as we delved deeper into what interested the director, Naum, to film us, we realized that the thing that tugged at people's heart was actually the connection that we have. So we focused the film on our connection. And then, as you know, with any film, there has to be conflict. And as we delve deeper into the conflict, I think the conflict was mostly on my side, which is while I want to be able to connect with my son and be really close, I also feel the weight of the responsibility as a parent to pass on the legacy of, him being responsible, understanding his privilege, understanding his roots, and not being addicted to video games. So that comes in conflict with the connection. So it ended up being a drawn-out story.
Mm. Well, one of the things I liked about the movie was that you do go back to China, to the town where you grew up in, but Evan also bargained to stop in Japan to go to Super Nintendo World. And although that's not covered at all in the film, Evan, what was it like being at Super Nintendo World?
It was really fun and definitely worth the sacrifice.
So what were the things that the kind of highlights of going to Super Nintendo World? Was there fun things to play on a large scale? Was there like people dressed up like the characters? I mean, what was it like?
Well, it's actually really crowded at Super Nintendo World. So even if you come right when the park opens, you still probably get like a ticket at like 6. So, I just hung out at like all the other places in Universal Studios. But I think Super Nintendo World was by far the most fun because I got a Mario band, and you can do a lot of stuff with that band. You can collect coins, you can fight Bowser Jr., and yeah, it was really fun.
Now, one of the things that they do show in the movie is you look like you're really skilled at those pick 'em up games where you have to drop the claw down and pick something up, and you looked like you were really good at doing that. Did it take a while to discover that talent and work on it?
Well, I used to play those like a lot, so it just came kind of naturally. I know the ones in Asia aren't as rigged as the ones in America, so that's why I played them in China.
They're not as rigged? Well, that's good to know that now China is going to be a big tourist destination for people who want to play those machines. So, another thing I thought was interesting was that when you were on your trip in China, there was the Comedy Citadel, which was a club in China that did stand-up in English. Could you talk a little about that, Helen?
Yeah, so this is one of the cool things about doing stand-up around the world, that in non-English-speaking countries, there's always an expat community. And so in Beijing, there's actually a English stand-up comedy club that's hosted by actually an American who also speaks Chinese, and we do basically shows in English for Chinese and English people on a weekly basis. And it's a popping show. It's a very warm audience.
Wow. Well, and the other thing I didn't realize is that there's actually in the Bay Area, there's something called Scylla Comedy, which is a club that features performers in Chinese.
Yes. It's Silly Comedy is one of the executive producers who helped with some of the setup and prep for this movie. And yeah, they do shows all over in San Francisco, San Jose, San Mateo, and it's also a very engaged audience. We've done shows with as many as 200 people in theaters. So
wow.
It's very interesting to see these micro communities of expats, of people living in a different country but still wanting to connect over their own native culture, like the Americans and Canadians in Beijing or the Chinese people here in the Silicon Valley.
Yeah, well, that's that was a really cool aspect of that film, and the film is comedy family style. It shows as part of CineQuest. CineQuest starts on Tuesday and goes to March 22nd. You can go to cinequest.org to find out more about the entire schedule, but Comedy Family Style has its U.S. premiere Saturday, March 14th at 2:45 at the Alamo Draft House in Mountain View, and then plays again on Thursday, March 19th at 7:15 at the same place. You know, that you talk about responsibility as a parent, that, you know, you had, I mean, one of the things about you going back to China was visiting your, I guess to say, I was going to say the apartment, but it's more like the room that you grew up in. It sort of was, it was pretty astounding to me. Could you talk a little bit about this building and the room and what this living arrangement was like when you were a kid?
Yeah. So I have, in my opinion, one of the happiest childhood upbringings. Despite the room being very small, maybe, 10 by 20 square feet. I was raised by my dad and my grandparents because my mom, at the time, came to the U.S. to be a PhD student to pursue her career. So there were 4 of us living in that room, and 3 of us sharing a bed in the main section and then another one in like a fold-out bed. And my grandparents pretty much like they picked me up from school and cooked for me, and my dad would ride his bike and put me on his bike to take me to my music lessons, extra math classes, calligraphy lessons. And yeah, we lived together as a community. It was definitely, I was raised by a village.
And it seemed like that you had this one room, and then you had like a common area, where the kitchen was, and other stuff like that. So it was a different kind of living arrangement, wasn't it, than what we are used to in the United States? Yeah,
definitely. So the building, I think it's a Russian-style building. It was built after the Communist Party took over in 1949. I think they got a lot of architecture blueprints from Russia, and it's very commune style, where there will be 3 families sharing the same bathroom and the kitchen, and so we all know our neighbors, and I remember spending very little time in the room, actually, besides doing some homework. It was mostly just knocking on neighbors' doors to go play outside, or doing homework at someone else's place, doing homework at school. It's definitely more optimized for communal living style.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that you were going back because actually that room, when you got there, that your father had passed away, and it had been 10 years since anyone had opened up the room, and you had to get somebody to break the lock because nobody had gone in 10 years. He
passed away during COVID, and right before COVID, he actually left Beijing to go to Nanchao, which is a very remote city near Russia and Korea. And since then, I hadn't been to check in on that room, and he had just been there. He hadn't been there, and he passed away, and I emotionally wasn't ready to go and face the room until I got this letter that they might actually demolish the building. So I decided to take Evan there to go see it with me.
And so this was a very strong reaction for you, and brought up a lot of feelings when you got back into the room. It sounds like that Evan said that Evan hated the smells and also the fake Pokemon cards in China. Is that true, Evan?
Yes, it is.
Well, another thing too is that so you were meeting some of the family that was still over there, and you were meeting at a park. There's an interesting thing where first off, the park is like called First Date Park, and and secondly, it's Evan being uncomfortable with speaking Chinese. That it was a little awkward that trying to have everybody talk to one another.
Yeah, it was, because I'm not completely fluent in Chinese, so I can't understand everything that my family members say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was a little awkward.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I think that is a common thing where you have people who are who can understand or can read, but it's difficult for them to actually speak it. So it's kind of a brave thing for you, kind of jumping off, going across the world to some place that was just really unfamiliar to you, and certainly nothing like you were used to living here in California. What were some of the things that you really liked about China, Evan?
Well, they have better arcades. I think some of the food is like maybe higher quality. And they also have like a lot of group, like food for sharing.
Well, cool. Well, I gotta say that the shot that you took in your hotel room, that was the Winter Wonderland theme.
Oh yeah.
Could you describe that? That was a really wild hotel room you stayed in when you were in China.
So yeah, we got a sponsored room, and there was just this like sign on our door that was like, this room is sponsored, and there wasn't a sign on any of the other doors. So we went in, and then there was like a bunch of stuff, and then a free plushie. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about too is that this is sort of a special time for the two of you, because it's not going to be long before Evan won't want anything to do with Mom, right? and so it's kind of a nice time to capture that relationship that happens at that stage. And what did you think about that, Helen, as you were going through the shots and trying to put the film together?
Yeah, I think it was interesting because that filmmaking process spanned for over almost a year, and that transformation has actually started to happen right during the filming process. And I think the latter part of the filming process made me appreciate just how precious it was. In the earlier part of the filming process, where I would drag him to like the craziest places, like cold places, unpleasant places, and he'd still like go along with it. Whereas, later part of the filming process, there was a lot more resistance that goes beyond negotiation.
Yeah, so, it is also sort of an interesting background, because your mother had moved to the United States from China for her career to get additional education and degrees. Mm-hmm. And so, you kind of grew up without a mother, but then when you yourself had a child, you didn't feel like you were ready for to put up with that, and it was your spouse and grandparents that did the same thing for Evan that your father and grandparents had done for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely made me forgive a lot of the things that I held some grudges on with my mom, just realizing how hard it is and that it is human to not connect to a baby naturally. That motherhood comes in many different shapes and forms, as human comes in many shapes and forms.
Well, the film Comedy Family Style, which has its U.S. premiere Saturday, March 14th at 2:45 in the afternoon at the Alamo Drafthouse, it has a really interesting format because it's you know, a lot of documentaries are, you know, big headshots of people talking to, you know, straight to the camera, but this is really different because it's almost like you know, like a you know, kind of peeking into your life. There's a long conversation that the two of you have as you walk through Dolores Park in San Francisco. There's other conversations where you're walking along the beach in Half Moon Bay, and it's just kind of one of these things where it's a different style for telling a story, and I'm sure you had to make these conscious efforts to do that, just so that it's more about conversation than talking heads.
Yes, we did. I think the conversations that happened in the documentary were real, and we wanted to make the documentary feel as close to real life as possible. And in our real life, most of the conversations or the in-depth conversations do happen when we're just during on a Saturday as we're walking through Dolores Park or on a vacation getaway in Half Moon Bay. And that's when conversations evolve. And I think the traditional documentary style where it's a talking head and someone interviews them, I think it's definitely a one form of storytelling. I think for us, we just felt like the special part is the connection and the journey. So just seeing both of us and how we interact and our body language and how Evan holds my hand or resists my hand is all part of the story.
Well, speaking of that vacation to Half Moon Bay, you stayed in this tree house that I thought was really fun. Talk about the tree house that you stayed in Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, so I try to take Evan to just like local area cool Airbnb. So we found this tree house on Airbnb, which has this tree house, and it has some land around it that we could go hiking at. So yeah, we've been there a couple times. So we ended up just going over there I think it was like a long weekend to stay at the tree house and during the day hike around the property. We actually wanted to get a shot of this cat. There's a few shots of this. There's a cat that actually goes hiking with you for miles at a time.
Wow.
So that was also really fun.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really cool. And it's sort of a nice adventure and a nice real change of pace because you do live in San Francisco, though you don't live in Chinatown.
No, we don't. Yeah, we live in the Mission, and we also thought that it was a good way to give the audience member to see a little bit of just the variety of activities that San Francisco Bay Area offers. Like we both really like the show Emily in Paris, and even though sometimes I'm not as interested in like the romance or the drama at workplace, but just seeing how the different places that she goes to would be really fun, and we thought that would be a good way to show off the Bay Area a little bit.
It is nice, and it is nice shots of not only just Chinatown, but of the Mission District of of the places that you're doing there. It really gives a sense of place that you're living in, and it's just the kind of a thing that unfolds as well. It's a really nicely paced documentary in that style. So that one of the things I think is interesting, Evan, is that you you were getting advice from different adults about comedy, and they both had really strong ideas about what you should be doing. But how do you feel about comedy? What do you feel like you want to do with it?
Well, I just want to do it lifelong. I think just having it as a hobby would be really fun.
That's cool. That's cool. I also wanted to bring up there's a great sequence in the film where that your mom's worried about you going off and meeting other people, and you've got a school dance that you're going to go to, and your mom says, well, you don't dance. And he said, well, nobody's going to dance. Nobody I'm going to is going to dance. He's just going to the school dance is like being at recess for 2 hours. I thought that was great. So, well, the film is comedy family style. It's a documentary about a mother and son, and they both do stand-up comedy, both in the United States and in China. And there's a couple of trips to China to visit Helen's home that she grew up in, and then some nice shots around California, Half Moon Bay, San Francisco. It has its U.S. premiere Saturday, March 14th at 2:45 p.m. at the Alamo Draft House in Mountain View, the old San Antonio shopping center. And you can go to cinequest.org to find out more, cinequest.org to find out the whole lineup of all the films that are played at Cinequest. Now that so there's like hours and hours and hours of footage that is done to put a documentary together. And is there anything you left out that you wish you could have put in?
Oh yeah. I mean, my co-director and I argued for hours over like 2 to 3 minute scenes to put in there. But in hindsight, I'm really happy with the way things turned out now. There were definitely scenes that I truly valued and thought was precious, like conversations we had at the beach. We also had done some scenes at independent Chinese dancers. We hosted a comedy show there, and that was both of us being on stage, and there were some scenes that were precious, but ultimately decided not to include. But I'm happy with the final decision that we landed on. Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Well, so and so doing stand up. I mean, that Evan, I'm figuring you're doing stand up in regular comedy clubs, so that's like late night. So you get to stay up late night to do stand up.
Oh yeah, I always stay up late night. Even when I don't have comedy shows.
Well, and one thing I read that you said that somebody in the audience bought you a Coke after the show, and you're not allowed to have that at home, so you really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
There you are. Already getting bad habits, being up on life on the wicked stage. So this is interesting to have both of you doing stand up. So it's not you don't feel any competition at all, trying to be better than your mom, Evan.
No, I think just us I think just us doing comedy on our own is fun. I don't really feel any pressure to be better than her.
And how do you develop How do you develop your routine? I mean, we see just a couple of shots of you doing jokes, but we don't see your whole stage show. How do you work on pacing your stand-up, Evan?
Well, we recite a lot of times at home and pretend like I'm on a real stage. So like I hold something to act as a microphone, and then my mom just tells me what I need to work on at the end of my set.
And so Helen, you're giving him tips not only on what he's saying, but his body language and how he's moving. Is that styling?
Yeah, I do. We have this routine where we ask for him to like think about the different things that he thinks about, and it's like posture. What's the acronym? I can't remember now.
Peace?
Oh, peace. That's right. Posture, enthusiasm, energy, smile, and then hot dogs. Yeah. So basically, like have him go check through these like 5 things when he's on stage. Mm-hmm. So I always say peace, and then he thinks through these things. And we do that practice at home, and sometimes right before a show.
Well, the thing that I think is real interesting is how people use art in their life, and I'm just going to say that stand-up comedy is an art form, and that this has been a wonderful way for the two of you to connect and do your art together, and it's an amazing film because it just shows, that I was thinking of that old television show, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. This is like ancient, but it's all about the father and son that are walking around talking about the things in life, talking about each other, and there's that same sort of sweetness, I guess is the best way of putting it, of families that are getting along and looking at questions and trying to make it in the world. So it's a fun film.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that people are resonating with it. When you push out a film, you are like, oh, this baby is so special to us, but is it relevant to anyone else? So good to hear that feedback.
So does this mean that your next project is going to be that you're gonna film your whole routine for to hope to get your comedy act in on bigger venues?
Yeah, we definitely hope to film another comedy special so that we can perform at bigger venues. There's also just there's some development projects that may happen with one of the studios too, that there's some interest right now. So we're very excited about where this takes us.
Well, let Evan have the last word here. Is Evan, is there something you'd like to say about what this movie means to you and what it's done for you?
I think it was a really fun project filming it, and I'm glad it's meaningful to my mom. So yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you both. We have Helen Zhu and Evan Ho, who are the stars of a documentary called Comedy Family Style. Comedy Family Style has its U.S. premiere as part of CineQuest, and it plays Saturday, March 14th at 2:45 p.m. at the Alamo Brewhouse in Mountain View, and then again on Thursday, March 19th at 7:15 p.m. at Mountain View. You can go to cinequest.org to find out more. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning. And broadcasting from Foothill College, this is KFJC, Los Altos Hills, and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you.
Come on to the theater. Hi, diddly-dee. An actor's life for me. A high silk hat and a silver cane. A watch of gold with a diamond chain. Hi, diddly-day. An actor's life is gay. It's great to be a celebrity. An actor's life for me. Turn down, dee-dee-dee-dum. Dilly-up-da-dum-da-dum. Dee-dum. Rum-ti-ti-ti-um-ta-ta. Rum-ti-ti-ti-ta-ta-ta. Rum-ta-ta-ta-ta. Hi, diddly-dum. An actor's life is fun. An actor's life for me. Hi, diddly-dee. An actor's life for me. A wax mustache and a beaver coat, a pony cart and a billy goat. Hi, diddly-dum. An actor's life is fun. You wear your hair in a pompadour. You ride around in a coach and four. You stop and buy out a candy store. An actor's life for me. Hi, diddly-dee. An actor's life for me. A high silk hat and a silver cane. A watch of gold with a diamond chain. Hi, diddly-day. An actor's life is gay. It's great to be a celebrity. An actor's life for me.
Ma.
You asleep?
Yes.
Good. I want to talk to you.
And now let's meet our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please?
I beg your pardon. Listen to me, my man. I don't like the tenor of that question.
Oh, this is going to be a wild one, isn't it? Jane, I must explain one thing. I have to take the first word. Anything can and probably will happen. Here we go. I'll give the password this time to Jane Fonda, James Mason, and as they look at it, you look at it.
Password is blackmail.
All right, Jane Fonda, for 10 points. It's yours.
Don't rush me, big boy. I don't know.
Is that your final answer?
I don't know!
What did you say? Never mind.
I know the
I
answer.
said I know.
I know the answer.
1 point, James Mason. 5 seconds.
Money.
Money.
Counterfeit.
Money counterfeit. No, my friends, I must tell you the word is blackmail.
Oh!
Did you know it? Did you know it, Chester?
No, I did not.
All right. Well, that was very interesting. It was time that we had a little...
Well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Oh, who's this guy?
I took the liberty of inviting Dr. Flonken here. He's with the Office of Unforeseen Atomic Events in Washington.
Young man, I'm afraid you've suffered some of the worst of what our mighty little friend the atom has to offer. It can power a city or level it.
But how can it cause this?
Young lady, human-insect mutation is far from an exact science. But there are some things we do know.
If this doesn't work, I don't know what will.
Do you always have to come popping in at the wrong moment?
You should open your mouth a little wider when you speak.
Your attitude is being noted, Mr. Weathers.
Cut out the clowning. We got work to do.
That's music right there from Scent of Mystery. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. I'm your host, Robert Emmett. Scent of Mystery was the first movie in smell-o-vision. That's right. Believe it or not, that during the film, they would set off scents that they'd blow through the audience. And it wasn't William Castle that did it either. It was Mike Todd, who did Around the World in 80 Days. And of course, it was a big failure. So they took the movie, they renamed it Holiday in Spain, and they made it a Cinerama picture. Oh, another failed kind of thing. So, but it was an interesting picture because you had Peter Lorre playing a taxi driver in Spain, if you can believe that, and oh God, very young because it was made in 1960. A very young man who's an Englishman who's a mystery writer who's vacationing in Spain and discovers a plot to kill an American woman. And it's like a travelogue because he has to go through Spain in this taxi cab and other means to catch up. And it's a beautiful looking movie. It's like one of those things where the movie suffers a lot because it was all about smell, right? So there's a pipe tobacco smell and flowers and a woman's perfume and some other things, but that it's driven by that rather than a real plot. So I spent too much time on it anyway, but the Scent of Mystery, the main theme to that. A drawn-out drama, Danny Elfman doing the opening to Dick Tracy, the main theme to Sparks, and Hi Diddly Dee from Pinocchio. Well, coming up next Sunday, not tomorrow, but next Sunday on Circumference's show, it's Traitors and Other Backstabbers. And so for the Ides of March, he's doing a mix of music from the television series The Traitors, as well as other songs about backstabbing. So that's Sunday, March 15th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Listen and obey. Well, let's play this. This is a CineQuest film. I don't know how long ago it was. The main theme to Flourish. KFJC is your source for sound. So it's a double shot of Andrew, although different last names. We heard Andrew Kaiser doing the main title to Flourish, and Andrew Gross doing the main title to Solitude. Both of those played at Cinequest many years ago. And it is time for this week's Cool Secret Place. Each week, KFJC tells you about a place that makes where we live so fun, so unusual, so exciting. Because, you know, you can go anywhere in the world and get the same cup of coffee, the same bag to buy, the same burger to eat. But there are people, places, and things that are right here, right in our own backyard, that make where we live such a fun place to be. And I'm always telling you to get out and do something and explore your neighborhoods to discover interesting places or people, and then share those with others. So this week's Cool Secret Place, or places really, comes from Eric via email. And it's all about places that host open mics. And here's what Eric says. So Eric says, a week ago, early January now, one of the weekly South Bay open mic venues lost its venue when the business unexpectedly closed that was hosting it. And it made me think about how important these spaces are for the community, and not everyone is aware of them. For the past year, I've been going to a bunch of open mics and jams every week. I've made many friends, I've seen a bunch of amazing performances, and I've got an opportunity to build up skills as a musician, which I'd been putting off for years. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to it every week, but you can too. Every open mic and jam has its own vibe, but it's always a supportive community. Some focus on comedy or spoken word. Some are on a particular genre of music, bluegrass, blues, Celtic. Some are jams where you can join in with others of all skill levels and play together. And some of the open mics are open to anything. Songwriting, spoken word, jugglers, stand-up comedy, magicians, novelists reading their novel. And the crowds might be large or small. The space might be a church, a coffee shop, a bar, or a library. Maybe a full stage set up in a dedicated room, or a small room, or a corner of a space shared with other activities. And the demographics skew to younger, older, all ages, whatever. So it's a creative outlet, and participation is welcome. Some open micers come to share original material. A number of times I've seen a performer say, "This is something I just wrote today." Some cover popular or more esoteric material, sometimes with unique interpretations. Sometimes people sing over a backing track they play on their phone, karaoke style. And some people just want to get over their fear of speaking and performing in front of others. A lot of collaborations seem to grow out of the open mic community. So you can come up audience member, you can check out what your neighbors are doing, maybe even try to perform yourself. There's always something happening, and there's probably one in your area. There's a Celtic Jam in downtown San Jose every Tuesday evening at O'Flaherty's Irish Pub. The Red Rock Coffee House on Castro Street in Mountain View hosts a very popular open mic upstairs every Monday night. There's a ukulele class and jam this Wednesday evening at 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Mountain View Library. And this sing and play event happens once a month at the library. There's also a comedy open mic monthly in Willow Glen. So if you're in the Bay Area, you can check out SiliconValleyOpenMic.com, SiliconValleyOpenMic.com, or BayAreaOpenMics.com, BayAreaOpenMics.com, and Mike is just M-I-C. And if you can't find one near you, then find some like-minded folks and consider starting one of your own. Thanks a lot, Eric. That was a really wonderful suggestion, and especially well written. And, you know, when you look around, you start to look around, there are pizza joints, coffee houses, pubs, and bars all over the greater Bay Area that have their own open mic nights. Even some traditional performance venues like San Jose Improv, Starry Plow, Hotel Utah, they have open mic nights. And there's probably places that you've driven right past and not known. The Simple Pleasures Coffee Shop that's in the outer Richmond district in San Francisco, it's right across the street from Noise. It's the record store where KFJC does its penny pitches in the fall. And the Cool Secret Place 7 Stars Bars and Grill in Campbell has a weekly open mic comedy night. Now, Eric mentioned the monthly ukulele jam at the Mountain View Library. You know, a lot of other local libraries offer ukulele jams, and some even let you borrow a ukulele if you don't have one of your own. Check it out. Check out your local library. There are neighborhood places in particular in practically every town and burb in the Greater Bay Area. Some might be right in your own backyard. It can be a low-pressure environment to gain some experience and build confidence and connect with others. Sharing your voice and your talent can be a lot of fun. You know, we live in a period where too many of our experiences and interactions are occurring virtually online. A local spot with an open mic, even if you don't perform, gets you into your physical community and can provide some inspiration and connection that you didn't expect. That's why it's important to explore your neighborhood, discover places, and then share with others. Because you might just find a cool secret place across the street, down the block, or next door to somewhere you always go. Thanks a lot. This is this week's Cool Secret Place, or places. And I encourage you to share your cool secret places. And if you have a cool secret place to share with us, you can write me an email at robert@kfjc.org. That's robert@kfjc.org. And remember to include or put Cool Secret Place or KFJC Listener in the subject title of the email so it doesn't get thrown off with the spam. And there's also a Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show Facebook page. You can put your Cool Secret Place there. Cool Secret Places, it's all about connecting with the people in your neighborhood. What better way than to do it at an open mic? So thanks a lot for that, Eric. So the television mystery theme coming up next, but let's play some music in the meantime. Here's some Mark Isham music from Cool World. KFJC is your source for sound. Mark Isham, Cool World, 89.7 KFJC, and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. It is 10:30, or reasonable facsimile thereof. So it's time to play the game we all know and love so well. That's right. It's time for the KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week. Each week, we call on you to call on us at 650-941-2500 and identify a good, bad, or just flat-out ugly television theme. Something you've heard, something you've heard about, something you've only ever heard here. This week's theme, well, this is a show that started in 2021, and it is still currently on. It's a ensemble cast. One of the stars was in Another Cinderella Story, Spring Breakers, Doolittle, Rainy Day in New York, The Dead Don't Die, and Monte Carlo. Another star was in Inner Space, Captain Ron, Inherent Vice, Mars Attacks, Father of the Bride, Frankenweenie, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And the third star was in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, All of Me, The Muppet Movie, Bowfinger, Grand Canyon, Leap of Faith, Looney Tunes Back in Action. So if you recognize this week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week, 650-941-2500 is the number. Put on your thinking caps, clean the wax out of your ears, program your speed dial or your personal electronic assistant, and let's see if you listen to what you watch. Your source for sound, KFJC. No false ending there. Music from Lust for Life, music by Miklos Rocha. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. What was this week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week? This week's KFJC Television Mystery Theme of the Week was the theme to Only Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Building started in 2021, and it's still running today. Selena Gomez is one of the stars. She was in Another Cinderella Story, Spring Breakers, Doolittle, Rainy Day in New York, The Dead Don't Die, and Monte Carlo. Martin Short was in Inner Space, Captain Ron, Inherent Vice, Father of the Bride, Mars Attacks, Frankenweenie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and The Three Amigos. Steve Martin was in Bowfinger, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Muppet Show, Muppet Movie, All of Me, Parenthood, Grand Canyon, Leap of Faith, Looney Tunes Back in Action, and The Three Amigos. So, Only Murders in the Building, this week's Television Mystery Theme of the Week. Who correctly identified that? We've got Zulu from Campbell, Drew and Cindy from Hayward, Pam and Andy from Mountain View, Judy in Waynesville, Greg in Menlo Park, Lindsay and Brian in Morro Bay, Vivian in San Jose, Sci-Fi Bob up in the East Bay, Clint and Mona from San Jose, Lauren and Michael from Idaho, Tom and Shawnee from Willow Glen, Ken and Jerry from Willow Glen, Marilyn from the East Bay, Greg from Round Rock, Texas, Mary Lee and Art from Rogue River, Oregon, Vicky and Dan from Ann Arbor, Chuck in Los Gatos, Bob in Redwood City, Bruce and Cynthia in San Jose, Dan and Denise in Belleville, John at Stanford, Cindy and Mark in Sunnyvale, Kevin from New Mexico, Victor from Alliance, Ohio, Jeremy and Mary Ann from Bella Vista, Doug from Alameda, Jeff and Cheryl from Seattle, Steve from Walnut Creek, Claire and Dave in Santa Clara, Liz in San Jose, Steve in Saratoga, Scott and Stacy in Richmond. Along with KFJC's own Sam Yorko, Circumference, Galaxy 500, Nancy Reagan, and Carson Street, all correctly identified this week's KFJC Television Mystery Team of the Week. So if you could do so safely and correctly, give them a hearty handshake, a big bear hug, or a pat on the back. Because amongst their peers and contemporaries, they listen to what they watch. Always important to listen to what you watch because you never know, somewhere, sometime, when you least expect it, somebody may nudge you in the ribs and ask, where did that come from? And you'll know. Well, coming up at 12 noon today, it is a live mic in the pit with Black Violet. She's the front person for the darts, but she's going to show a different side of her today from noon until 3, playing live mellow jazz and trip-hop music. So listen and obey. Carson Street and Dr. Doug will be co-hosting. What's happening over at Niles? Tonight's going to be a really fun night at the Niles Silent Film Museum. Kenneth MacDonald, who you might remember as always played a heavy in the Three Stooges shorts, as well as he was often the judge in Perry Mason TV shows. He is the co-star with Fay Wray in her first movie, a movie called Coast Patrol. And playing along with that is Mabel's Blunder with Mabel Norman and the Halfback of Notre Dame. Halfback of Notre Dame is a 1924 silent that's about some football people but doesn't really have anything to do with Notre Dame. They picked the title because in 1924, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame were undefeated. Newt Rockne was their coach, and they were 10-0 for their season and even won the Rose Bowl. So has nothing to do with the halfback of Notre Dame, but it was a great way to piggyback him. And so that's tonight, starting at 7:30. Silent films never are. Bruce Loeb will be at the piano. And you can go to nilesfilmmuseum.org to find out more. Oh, well, what do we have? Let's play some more music. And we've got some filmmakers coming up. So here is from The Hustler. Music by Kenyon Hopkins. KFJC, your source for sound. Music right there by Joel McNeely from Squanto, A Warrior's Tale. Broadcasting from Foothill College, this is KFJC, Los Altos Hills, the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show, and with CineQuest going on right now. We've got another filmmaker on the line. We have Henry Griffin, who's the director of Brenda. And Brenda has its world premiere at CineQuest Saturday, March 14th at 4:30 p.m. at the California Theater, and then plays again Tuesday, March 17th at 7:30, and Thursday, March 19th at 7:30, both at the Alamo Brew House in Mountain View. Henry, thank you for being on the air today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So Brenda is Brenda's a really fun movie. Just give us a little bit about what Brenda's about.
Okay, Brenda's a movie that takes place in New Orleans, where I live, in 1994, a period right before the internet arrived. And when you had to, if you didn't know the answer to a question, you had to either look it up or make it up. It's about a married pair of low-level marijuana dealers who have a 5-year-old son who wants to know what they do for a living. They don't know what to tell him, and then he accidentally overhears the code name they use on the telephone for contraband, and he tries to solve the mystery of his parents' imaginary friend, Brenda.
Well, this is really cool, and you know what I really like is that the parents, one of them is a glass blower, and the mom's also like an artist, and it's really cool that you have these people who are artists and aren't the sort of typical what you'd call low-level marijuana dealers. I thought that was a nice thing. The mom's a piano tuner, and those are both some great occupations that don't make a lot of money.
And they could actually handle a lot of cash, right?
That's right.
They're both kind of loners, you know what I mean? They could kind of be outsiders and sort of keep their business a little secret. That was the idea.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I really liked about this is that they drive an 80s Chevy Citation. The Chevy Citation is one of the 12 worst cars ever made, and I don't know if you did that, if you got that car for them just because it was a bad car, or it was just serendipitous, but it was great that they were driving that Citation.
I'm so happy to hear that. Nobody's mentioned the Citation so far. It was, I was looking for a period vehicle that they would have driven. I had a few choices. That was the maroon car. But then after I chose it, I called all my gearhead friends, and they were like, really? You chose the Citation? So it turns out, if I made up these characters, I'm also the guy who would buy a Citation.
Yeah, the Citation was just really ugly. It tried to be sort of a hatchback and a family sedan, and it was kind of the worst of both. And it was one of the 12 worst cars ever made. So I think that was really great. What I think is interesting is that although the movie takes place in New Orleans, you don't go out of your way to draw attention to that. I mean, you can figure it out by the posters that are on the wall and the music that's being played. But I really like how the story is about the people, not about the town.
Well, thank you. I'm a native New Orleanian, and I made a series of films here, and I realized quite some time ago I never seem to remember to plug the city in and of itself. I think I never mentioned the name of the city, and I think, I don't know. The film itself is a strange sort of in-joke. They just sort of behave the way they naturally would. People in New Orleans don't talk about New Orleans all the time. It's like a fish talking about water.
Well, but what I really liked, though, was the T-shirts they wear, because the dad wears a T-shirt for Tippy Tina's, which I guess is a club, and it's also a big song by Professor Longhair. And the mom wears a T-shirt for the New Orleans Klezmer All-Stars. So, I mean, they're definitely wearing their musical tastes on their sleeves, quite literally.
So to speak. Hey, thank you for mentioning that. Fun fact: I'm literally outside of Tipitina's as we do this interview.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And there's a connection to your area. Between sort of a couple of members of the New Orleans Klezmer All-Stars used to live in Santa Cruz. They went to college there, and then they moved down to New Orleans, and they started the Klezmer All-Stars, and one of them is in the band Galactic, and Galactic owns the Club Tipitinas. But the reason I leaned in heavy on the T-shirts is that this is a very low-budget movie, and I realized that it had to be a period piece for sort of particular reasons. And at the level of filmmaking I was doing, I really couldn't recreate New Orleans in any macro sense. And they're indoor people to begin with because they're parents. So the T-shirts did a lot of the heavy lifting.
That's right. Well, also I liked, I didn't make big notes on them, but in their house there's plenty of posters from concerts, concert bills from New Orleans and for New Orleans musicians, and so I mean it's not one of those things where you're going around and taking pictures of the Latin Quarter, but you do feel a sense of place with what you see. You kind of get drawn into New Orleans.
Well, much appreciated. Obviously, the folks in New Orleans are very happy about this movie, and a lot of people loan me their old period details. And then also there is some sort of fine photography. If you look in the background, there's photos by Michael P. Smith and the jazz photographer Herman Leonard. Their estates were very kind in letting us put that photography up in the movie. So there's a lot of New Orleans music and a lot of jazz in the corners of the movie.
That's right. It's got a really nice soundtrack. You had a good pick of the songs that you included in to really give it a nice jazz feel for a New Orleans jazz kind of feel. So the film is Brenda. It has its world premiere 4:30 Saturday, March 14th, next Saturday at the California Theater, downtown San Jose, and then shows again Tuesday, March 15th and Thursday, March 19th at 7:30 at the Alamo Draft House in Mountain View. All part of CineQuest. CineQuest starts on Tuesday and goes to the 22nd. You can go to cinequest.org to find all the listings and all the films and more about Brenda. I really liked the twists and turns in this are great because that at the beginning he meets a guy and they work out this elaborate code for when he's supposed to come or when he's not supposed to come. Yeah. And it's all based on the 4 plants that he has on the front porch. And it just keeps getting more complex. And I can't see the dad even figuring out what the first things were. I mean, it was just like one of those things where before the internet and before cell phones that you had all these weird little code things you used.
You know, I had the idea for this film many, many years ago, and I thought, that we used to have code names for that kind of stuff. And then as time passed, marijuana has been sort of decriminalized in a lot of places, even in South Louisiana, where it was once pretty scary. And then also things like when your kid asks you questions you don't know the answer to, ever since the internet, it all got a lot easier. So the moment I made it a period piece, I thought, oh yeah, back then you just didn't know things. Or you would just put that question in the back of your mind, or you'd write it down. And so it was really a different world when you had to act both scared of cannabis and then also like, that you were just comfortable not knowing the answer to things immediately.
Yeah, that's kind of a lost art of saying I don't know. Well, what's really cool is Shamir from Office Space actually plays the dad, the Dennis character. So that was really cool to get him. Does he live in New Orleans?
He does not. He lives in New York. Ajay Naidu, as you're talking about, is a really tremendous actor. I met him quite some time ago. We had a mutual friend, and an actor who's a good friend of mine who also lived in Ben Lomond, not that far from you. Nicky Cat had been in a movie called Suburbia with Ajay. And so I'd always wanted to work with Ajay. And then when this movie came together, the real fun fact is that he plays the father in this family, and his son, John, plays his son in the movie. So I have an actual father and son in the picture.
Wow, that's really good casting.
And it's not just a 2-for-1, there's a 3-for-1, because Ajay's wife, Heather Burns, Little John's mother, is a tremendous actor. She was in Manchester by the Sea. She was in Miss Congeniality, and she plays a kindergarten teacher in the movie. So I got 3 for 1.
Oh, and the kindergarten teacher is just an absolute blast because first off, the child draws these incredibly difficult pictures of Redrum and screams and she coaxes out of him Brenda, and she also is on this this trip to figure out who Brenda is. And that certainly adds tension in the movie. Oh my gosh, are they going to be uncovered? And it's I wanted to ask you, maybe a little bit of a technical thing, which you shot this in Panavision, but you have a lot of close-ups. There's just a lot of close-ups and head and shoulder shots, and so you really up, and because you have the cast that you do, you can let their face and their body language tell the story almost as much as the words they read. But what were you looking at when you were setting up the way you were shooting this film?
What a great filmmaker question. So yes, I did have the idea that, every film has to come up with its own internal language of why you shoot the movie the way you do. And I'd had the idea that when people were high, that they would be in a kind of, that might be helpful to put them in really close-ups, because it's that way that your world becomes very small and the context in which you are becomes very sort of, what do they call it in the movie? Myopic, like it's very close to you. So I'd had that idea. I didn't really hit it on the nose, but sometimes when you see people very close, it's probably because they, burned one on the way over. And what it gave me the advantage to do is that I'm really proud of the film, and I think it's because of the acting. The actors in it are so wonderful, and so there's a scene in the movie, I don't want to tell too much about the story, where the mom goes to the doctor to get some news, and the whole thing is shot in a really close-up where we just listen to her the whole time. And I thought, when you have great actors, you can just put the camera on them, and then they make you believe all of it. And maybe the last thing I'd say is that one of my influences as a filmmaker is the British director Mike Leigh, that's the way he shoots his films. So Mike Leigh is a big deal to me. He made a film called Another Year that's a movie about a happy marriage, and Brenda is a film about 2 happily married people. And I thought, okay, you can make a movie about a marriage and not have it be about, are we going to get divorced, or are you cheating on me? It's really about how married people make decisions.
Well, and you bring up such a great point. It's so fun about this movie is that, don't go in with any expectations, because you're not going to figure it out, because the couple is happy, that they're kind of scraping by doing their artwork and their music and making a little money on the side, and they're not typical people, but they're art people, and they're fun to be around, and it's fun to be invited into their home and listen and watch them.
Well, what a kind thing to say. Very few people have seen the film outside of my orbit, and I'm about ready to show it to a zillion people. So I'm really excited to know that it worked on you. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, it's because the world premiere, because it hasn't premiered yet. The world premiere happens Saturday, next Saturday at 4:30 at the California Theater, downtown San Jose, as part of Cinequest. But so for this film, was it tougher for you to get started or to keep going?
It's kind of a dead heat. This was a film I've been trying to make for a while. I mean, actually, in the backstory of it, I'd had a table read of the script to get people excited, and then later that week, the pandemic started. And then in the world of the COVID pandemic, film production shut down and then reopened with an enormous amount of safety protocol, which for independent films was cost prohibitive. And so I couldn't really make the film until those protocols ended. And then in doing so, I immediately was like, I think I got a chance to make the film. Every independent film is a real challenge to get done. But I'll say I don't know that I'd call it, it was hard to keep going, but the post-production process for this film was quite a while. I was trying to keep hope alive that the film was going to come together and mean something to somebody. So I will say, after the shooting, post-production was a significantly longer period than pre-production. How about that?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
The tale of the film shot to the film completed has been quite some time. But I wouldn't say I ever lost hope. It was just a path of constant struggle. How about that?
Well, yeah. Well,
also creative opportunity. There's a lot of creative things. The credits to the film are very artistic, and they just got done about a month ago. So I'm very happy.
We need to talk about that because the credits, the opening credits and the end credits, are really unique because they're child drawings, and like as if a child had written out the names in different colors, and I thought that was like really fun. And did that take a whole lot to do in post-production?
No, I mean, I would say the hardest part of a film is production. I'm also a film teacher. I teach filmmaking. And so pre-production could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 years. You could be planning to make this film your whole life. You can work on it. And then after you've shot the movie, you have almost as much time as you need to make it as good as possible. But that period of several weeks in the middle when you're shooting the film, there's only so much you can do with the amount of time that you have and the resources and the people. So little things like, music and credits and things that you can do afterwards are all opportunities to improve the thing and to help tell the story a different way. I was really working with children, as W.C. Fields used to say, is an extraordinary challenge. He said it in a more colorful way. But I thought I only really had a handful of children, but I wanted child energy all over the movie so you would feel that, in some ways, it's like the world before the internet is a little bit like a child before they learn how to read and write, that they just really are trying to figure things out. And so I wanted to feel that perspective on the screen. So that's why I did, whenever I could, get actual children to like put their weirdness on the film.
Well, and the child is wonderfully innocent. And as children are naturally curious and keeps wanting to find out who Brenda is and keeps getting different stories and it but it's just kind of that time of childhood when a child is curious about everything, but I guess the best way of putting it is not very knowledgeable or world weary, so to speak. So it's a nice dynamic to play that off with a couple who obviously want to keep this part of their life away from their child. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Please finish your thought.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, that I feel like there were just, if you were in that situation where you didn't really want to talk to your child about what you did for a living, you really have these two basic options. You can either be honest with your kid, you can lie to your kid, or I guess you could change your life so that you could be honest with your kid. And I thought if I could just do that thing that I think a lot of couples do, certainly married parents, is that they really represent two halves of the same brain. And then the film was sort of about how these two sides, maybe the rational and the intuitive, how they just sort of work it out. One of them's really kind of honest, and the other one really likes to think, let a kid be a kid for as long as possible. Mm. And that's sort of what the film is about.
So what I like is that that they're reading a book to the kid, and it's Sherlock Holmes drug use from the Sherlock Holmes story, and it was just a really funny piece to have of them trying to keep the kid a kid and reading a Sherlock Holmes story where they're going into detail about his drug use.
Sherlock Holmes did used to shoot up a fair bit. I thought that was worth mentioning. I thought, I don't know how parents get around. I don't recall that part when I was a kid, right? But he certainly does find a vein.
So I did want to talk about like the music that you did use, because you have Arturo O'Farrell, who's like a big Latin jazz pianist, worked with Carla Bley and Dizzy Gillespie, and that's pretty cool that you got him to do the piano work for the soundtrack.
Yes, of all the honors that I was done by people collaborating on this film with me, Arturo was one of the last people to enter the picture and one of the most important, pardon the passing train. Arturo is a friend, and I know him through his work with the Afro-Latin Jazz Orchestra, etc. But he's also a great pianist, and he's a great collaborator. He really believes in art, and he just wants to make stuff with people he likes. And so I thought, hey, this is a philosophy of mine, is that you sometimes take a friendship and turn it into an artistic piece. And so he saw the film and really had an energy about it. And I can't really describe the film's tone to your listeners who haven't seen it yet, but in some ways it's like a dark comedy because it's about something that's not really funny, drugs and children. But it has a real warmth to it and a real kind of innocence to it. And what Arturo's music brought to it was really extraordinary. And I guess maybe for anybody who thinks, wait a second, this is a very tiny independent film, and Arturo O'Farrell is one of the most well-regarded musicians on the planet. I think for people who are looking to make art projects, it just can never hurt to ask somebody if they want to help. And that's what he did, and the film is really extraordinary because of it.
Well, and it's, it just seems like that the energy and determination that independent filmmakers have can really put together something that is far greater than they ever would have planned if they were thinking about it to begin with. Is that kind of how you feel about what Brenda's turned into?
Sure. I mean, just because I have music on the mind, there's a lot of interesting songs that are in the movie, but it can all the songs that ended up on the soundtrack of Brenda did so because they're owned by independent or small record labels. They could be jazz labels or music publishing companies. And everybody really does want to help people make things. So I'm grateful that everybody understood how small this project was and thought, hey,
And that's cool too.
Yeah.
It's cool too to also give some extra promotion to a lot of independent things. One of the things I thought was really interesting was that on the television you show a clip from a 1987 documentary called "A Brother with Perfect Timing," and that's another music kind of intersection there. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what that was and why you wanted to put it in your movie.
Absolutely. But the first film I made a half-hour film about 25 years ago called Mutiny that's about a bunch of jazz musicians in New Orleans. And one of them is staying at home watching the Sun Ra film Spaces the Place on television. So I think it's hilarious that several films later, I think people just get high and watch television. That must be my perspective on the world. But I thought, what would be this is the VHS era when people would rent tapes. And I really adore Abdullah Ibrahim, and I love that film. It's called A Brother with Perfect Timing by the South African filmmaker Chris Austin. And there's a great scene in it. It's about Abdullah Ibrahim, and it's about, his compositions and his performances. And he's not known for being a great interview, so it's one of the few films where you can really hear him talking about his philosophy. And I thought, I wonder if I could license that as a clip in the film. It's a little bit like putting a song in your movie as a footage license request. So it turns out that Chris Austin is still working in South Africa. It's a lovely website, and he's an independent filmmaker too, which means he retains the rights to his own film. So I just asked him if I could use it in the film, and he said yes. And so it really classes up the joint to have maybe the greatest living jazz composer do a little cameo in your film, even on television.
And it's also nice is it gives a little extra plug, because it certainly made me curious to want to go out and find out more about him. So the film is Brenda. It has its world premiere next Saturday at 4:30 at the California Theater in downtown San Jose, and then plays on Tuesday, March 17th and Thursday, March 19th, both at 7:30 at the Alamo Draft House in Mountain View, all part of Cinequest. Cinequest, CINEQUEST.org, the film festival for independent films that begins on Tuesday and goes to the 22nd. And you must be like really excited about this, Henry, because it's your first movie and the world premiere is coming up.
Well, and not only is the world premiere coming up, I feel like I should mention at the first screening, the one at the California Theater, I'll be there with the producer, and also the two lead actors, Ajay and Jamie, will be there as well.
Oh,
so
great.
It's a big moment for all of us. But yes, when somebody asks me how I'm feeling, I say the contractions are getting closer.
That's right. Well, and so what always so cool about Cinequest, it's more than just a movie, is that oftentimes the filmmakers are there with other people from the cast or the production staff, and there's not too many films that you can when the lights come up at the end that you can ask questions of the filmmakers, and that's always a good thing. So, what did you have a part of the movie that you were really happy to see in there? That it was one of those things where this is something. This is a shot or a sequence or a scene that, man, it's just that movie for me.
Golly, that's a question you'd think I'd be prepared for. I want to say I kind of feel very strongly about all of it. I've been working on it for quite some time. There's some really great actors in the movie, and they're only in the film, some of them just for one scene or another scene. I mean, you mentioned the drug dealer who has a whole code about plants on the porch. I actually play that role myself. But another friend of mine, Jay Chandrasekhar, who was in Super Troopers and Beer Fest, he came into the project and he just is in one scene. It's really fun. He and I have been friends for a long time. It's a great chance to work with him. There's a great New Orleans musician in Aurora Nealand, who maybe isn't a household name out there, but should be. She's in one scene of the movie. So I think anytime I was able, I think maybe the thing that I'm proudest of, I think the thing that delights me most is all the music, in the sense that at the last minute I was able to get James Booker on the soundtrack and Snooks Eaglin, who are two musicians that I would assume get played on your station every now and then, who I think were musicians who were extraordinary virtuosos who weren't necessarily appreciated in their lifetime, to the point that after their death we're still trying to get people to listen to these folks. So anytime I could get them in there, or the amazing Oliver Morgan, whose song Who Shot the Lala sort of inspired the whole movie. It's a song with a question in it. So, I mean, I wouldn't have made the movie the way if I hadn't been able to put the song Who Shot the Lala in it. It's that one thing where you have to get the song before you made the movie, if they talk about it. So I'm pretty grateful that I was able to put all that music in the film.
Well, that's cool. Well, and this is it's really funny because it's a family comedy, but about drug dealers, drug dealers who are artists, but the thing is that the relationships that the people have are honest and warm and loving, and so it's skillful to put a film together like that, because it's too easy to make everybody shouting at one another. It's a wonderful film when you have people who are showing care and consideration and kindness for one another.
Well, it's very nice to say. I think I've realized that in the film after it's done. After you finish it, you can look at it and say, what did we just do? I mean, I would probably characterize myself as a kind person with a wicked sense of humor. So I think the film probably has both sides of that as well.
Well, that's really good. Well, listen, Henry Griffith, the director and writer of Brenda. Brenda's having his world premiere at next Saturday at 4:30 at the California Theater in San Jose, and then Tuesday, March 17th and Thursday, March 19th, both playing at 7:30 at the Alamo Draft House in Mountain View. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you enjoy another beer at Tipitini's.
I sure will. I really appreciate your thoughtful questions, and I look forward to seeing your listeners next week.
Great. Thank you very much. Here's some music on your source for sound, KFJC. This is 89.7 KFJC and the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. We have yet some more filmmakers. There's another world premiere coming up next Saturday at 2:25 in the afternoon at the Hammer Theater, and it's for a movie called Rope Tide. And we have the co-director, Kira Padishka, on the phone, as well as the star, Dmitry Marinov. Thank you for both for being on KFJC.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let me start with Kira. Talk a little bit about what Rope Tide is about.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. It's Kiara. Rope Tide basically follows a artist who's tied for an entire year to his muse in an experiment on how to achieve the world's closest connection. And their radical performance piece is filmed by a young man who's an ambitious documentarian, and he follows as the relationship literally unravels.
And this is such a fun film because it's all about art. And Dmitry, you are the artist, and you play a guy whose medium is mostly like painting, although at the very beginning of the film you just get doused with every sort of color you can think of, and then roll around on a sheet to make a piece of art. Did you find that particularly challenging?
Not really, and I will tell you why. Because my life is like that. And if you ask my mom, that's the perfect character I could be. And thanks to Kiara and her wonderful crew, I had the opportunity to truly be myself.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's really interesting. Well, this film, that the focus of the film is about two artists who tie themselves together with a length of rope for 1 year. Fortunately, the rope is like 6 feet, so it gives them a minimal amount of privacy. But it's before we talk too much about that, that this is all about art, artists, and the muses. It's that what inspires an artist, who becomes the muse for the artist at a certain time, and this even in the movie, that you have the couple talking about Jackson Pollock and about what Petty Guggenheim brought to Jackson Pollock, what Lee Jackson brought to Jackson Pollock, and the whole thing about how art and life intersect.
Yeah, absolutely. Lee Krasner, Jackson Pollock, and Peggy Guggenheim triangle of madness was deeply inspiring, especially because Demeter plays Daskalov, who's an artist trying to come back after a terrible incident with his former agent, and he's retreated but tries to come back into the spotlight, essentially, and brings his muse along for the ride. But as the movie progresses, we see that the three of them all have very different motivations from what they originally let on. And exactly, I love that parallel. We definitely looked at Pollock. Great indie movie from the 90s, too.
So what I really liked was that the muse, the woman who is the muse, is just, it's like she's out of Vogue magazine. I mean, that the eye makeup that is almost different every time you see her is completely like beyond high style. And talk about that look for that character and doing all those looks for her as she went through the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl Nowak, who plays Luna, is absolutely beautiful on camera, and we were so lucky to work with Sage Kirk, who is our makeup artist, and Emily Schrader, who helped playfully create the wardrobe for Luna. And yeah, we created these really campy looks, almost out of the 1920s, out of the 60s, and we really wanted to go above and beyond, because Luna Monroe as a character really represents the epitome of the muse, and we saw her as the perfect doll. So how do we absolutely show that visually? It was really fun to play with all the makeup looks, and honestly, we would be waiting sometimes a couple hours for Sage to finish a makeup look, because she hand applied thousands of crystals for one scene. Or I'd have her come in for only 6 seconds to do a quick outfit change. There's a scene where Carl has a swim cap on, and we'd have to completely change the look. So the crew brought it all, and we had a very distinct visual lookbook in mind for Carl.
So this is a film that's filmed in Miami, isn't it?
Yes, we shot on location in Miami. We were very lucky to do so, and Demeter flew out on location, and we were all together for about 13 days. It was a rapid shooting process, and we were filming with a mostly Miami-based crew. So it was a wonderful experience to shoot down in South Florida.
So kind of a month a day almost in shooting, since they're tied for a year. Yeah.
Exactly. And for Demeter's iconic opening painting sequence, we saved that till the last day so he wouldn't run away from us because he had to get coated in buckets of paint. Right, Demeter?
Well, let's be honest. That was just a joke that I didn't know that you guys put it in the beginning of the movie. Nobody asked me about it. I did not know. That was literally a joke, and I was making fun of the moment, and we were just goofing around, and all of a sudden I see this as an opening. Well, but I would like to say just one word about Noah, my co-star, extraordinaire. And here is a little secret. When I arrived in Miami for the first day of filming, Kiara and Evan, those extraordinary, wonderful young people, said, Demeter, she does not have your experience in film and television. She's just a beginner as an actress, although she's a model for a long time. Please, we count on, talk to her, help her out. I said, great. So I invite her out for a little drink. We sit down. We start to get to know each other. The next day, I told Kiara one thing. Do not touch her. She is perfect. Please, no acting. Just be herself. And from this moment on, everything you see in this film is her pure, authentic Noah. Extraordinary. And for me, was amazing challenge. And of course, Kiara can talk a little bit more about the way this film is done with the camera and the floating and everything else. But every single day, I was never, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, that I would have never had such a challenge with such a young, beautiful talent every single day. And if I was doing this with an actress with an experience, would have been a very different story. It would have been this beautiful thing that you just saw. And with all the respect to all the actresses around the world, but sometimes we need to pay more attention to the pure talent and let them do their thing. And it's much better. And as you can see in the film.
And the film is Rope Tide, and it is having its world premiere next Saturday next Saturday afternoon at 2:25 at the Hammer Theater in downtown San Jose. And then we'll also play Monday, March 16th at 12:20 in the afternoon at the Alamo Brew House in Mountain View, all part of CineQuest, CineQuest, starts on Tuesday and goes to March 22nd. We have the people from Rope Tide on today on KFJC, and Didymer, that there's some real heavy stuff that you're processing, that not just love, but antagonism and frustration, and that it really took a lot to sort of stay where that character was and play off that your perfect muse, and it's really fun to watch. It's really fun to watch because it feels so natural, and it kind of unfolds so naturally.
Well, to be honest, every relationship is like this, honestly. We hide the reality of our relationships behind closed doors. But in truth, this is it. And for me, it was amazing to see how this young actress, as a person, connected with me as a person. And if we have any success, it's because we connected as people. And she had her pain, her memories, her relationships, her life experience. I have mine. We connected right in the middle. And what we tried to do, not to be actors, not to play the script, we wanted to feel each other's pain, each other's jokes, each other's fun, and at the same time, the betrayal and the happiness of what we have experienced as people, although I'm much older than she is. But boy, this girl knew more than I did. So anyway, the muse is just a symbol. The muse is everything you can fall in love with. And that's why we try to stay away as actors from kind of generalizing and going into those little, cliche. No. Every single day, walking on set, Kiara and Evan was a little nervous. Okay, this is another secret. I'm sorry, Kiara. But we did not want to memorize exactly the text, the lines. We knew what the scene is about. And first, we wanted to experience with our own words, our own expression, to feel the moment. And then the lines came naturally because Evan and Kiara, I have no words to say at that young age to write a script like this. Okay, thank you. I worked with big screenwriters and directors in Hollywood until the moment, but it was everything so right on. They write for actors. They write for action. They write for passion. And it came naturally.
Well, and it's so cool being an independent film because there aren't any cliches in this, that it is genuine and real feeling. And what I like here was that, you also kind of dabble a little bit in the problems with art, with the art world, when you have somebody who's a big artist, and the whole thing about galleries and the whole way that there's a sequence where the big gallery owner comes to look at the new work, and it's sort of like the way the internet now is that everybody says really harsh, horrible things, and doesn't think that it's that they doing it for your own good, but don't think that it has any effect on the people that they're actually saying it to. It was a very poignant scene that you had in the movie about that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that scene was so emotionally charged. It was a oneer, so they just went off and did the entire scene in one take. And basically, we're just exploring art and clout and the relationship between vision and commerce. And Stuart Murphy, who plays Willem, represents that aspect of the artist's life. You have your personal life and your relationships, but you also have to please the man and bring the bread home. And Vasile is struggling with that, and we have this kind of cataclysmic intervention that happens when his agent comes to town after he's so desperately trying to win his attention back with this crazy rope-tied premise.
Oh, it's and it's just that the whole thing with art, how it hangs. There's the genuine animus, so to speak, in the artist that produces the art, but then they have to hang on everything for judgments and money and gallery showings, and it's just a nice. It's not a big part of the thing. The movie is about inspiration, artists working together and working apart, and it just is. It gives you this sense of a real person who's trying to do art and using a muse to help find it, but the muse is also trying to do her own art, and how they intersect and connect makes for a really fun movie.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally think that Luna goes on her own arc as a muse, but we see the fracturing there in terms of she's always been treated as a muse and wants to be an artist in her own right, but being an artist can also come at a cost, and she learns about that through Daskalov's character. At the end of it all, the two of them come out of this in completely different places than when they started, but I don't think they come out where they expected, not in the slightest. So I love the interplay between the two of them, and Demeter's performance is phenomenal and gave Carl, who's a rising newcomer, so much to work with and to react off of. They're both very physical, present actors, and it was just a joy to see them become these characters. At the end of it all, we really all felt like we had gone through this experience together, miraculously.
Yeah, it was. It's interesting, and of course, because you have Daniel, the character who plays the cameraman, who is being your fly on the wall, so to speak, and filming their actions and interactions. It's also interesting how he gets drawn in at certain points, so that he's not just the neutral chronicler. He takes active stuff, and like one thing I thought was where they're in bed and the cameraman is sleeping, and he's got the camera on, and Demeter's character gets up and he's going to have a drink. He has a glass and he wakes up Daniel, and he says, "Daniel, go get me ice." Because he doesn't want to wake up his muse that he's tied to, and that was just a great little thing. It's just it shows that the sort of sacrifices of close proximity, of the whole thing where we were all forced together during COVID, and by being tied together with a rope, that you can't get away from each other.
No, you cannot. No one can get away from each other. And Demeter and Carl were literally tied with this rope for hours and hours of the day. So, yeah, all physical boundaries, all emotional boundaries break down.
So the movie is Rope Tied. Its world premiere is next Saturday at 2:25 in the afternoon at the Hammer Theater, downtown San Jose. And then plays again on Monday, March 16th at 12:20 at the Alamo Brew House in Mountain View, part of Cinequest. It's a great comedy about an avant-garde artist that's tied together with his muse for 1 year. And that you have this great, you show a little shot of with the month in big character when you moving the movie along, and you have all sorts of real interesting buildings that have art or murals on them. Are those all from the Miami area?
Yes, those are all on location in Wynwood, which is like the historic arts district in Miami. So yeah, those are all local artists, and the neighborhood's always changing, and you can see construction in the background. So we see how this world that they've isolated themselves is, slowly changing, as are they.
Yeah, that's a part that artists are always a pioneer. That they're pioneers in sections of towns or areas that have been kind of decimated, and they bring them back. And as soon as they bring them back, then somebody comes in and tears them down for condos. So
exactly. Yeah. So it's a nice studio, but only for so long.
So when you're putting this movie together, that you were co-writers and co-directors with Evan Friedman, and talk a little bit about how your collaboration worked together and what it did to shape the movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Evan and I began writing this movie as students at the University of Miami, and we actually shot the film during our breaks from the school term. And yeah, in terms of the writing process, we were a little nervous because we had to write characters that were way wiser, older than us. And we did a lot of research, watched several films from ranging genres. We watched Grey Gardens, which is the hilarious documentary about the Big Eddie and Little Eddie. And then we also watched Scenes from a Marriage with Jessica Chastain, great portrait into a relationship in such an intimate space. We knew we wanted to film in one location as an independent film, and so we thought of this proximity between two characters would be a great way to really work well between the two of us, as he's a guy and I'm a girl, and so we brought our different perspectives into the mix and how we both felt about the art world from both perspectives.
And Demeter, how did that work with you? I mean, having co-directors doing the film. I mean, it sounds like they gave you a lot of leeway.
Well, let me be honest. As listening to wonderful conversation between you two, it comes to mind Shakespeare. This film was comedy of errors. So wonderful, so dramatic, tragic, and funny to the brim. If I have to be honest, those two were the cutest little couple on set that in the beginning you walk into the set, and when I saw them, let's not to mention that I am originally from Bulgaria, and greetings to all the Bulgarians who are listening right now. I'm calling from Bulgaria, Sofia.
Oh my gosh.
And Chiara, from Bulgarian background, born and raised in the United States, and Evan, who is this cutest little guy. I said, are those two really the people who are going to do all this? Who wrote all this? Not to mention, I have a great fight with my agents who are you doing a student film? I said, no, I'm doing a film, and I'm doing it, and I don't care if you get involved or not. The brilliance of young mind, which we, the elderly, I'm sorry, I'm from the last century, one of the dinosaurs, to see this young talent knowing so much what they want. This is the major problem with a lot of my generation, that we want so much, but we don't know how. Those two knew exactly what they want, how they want it. Not only, they gave us so much freedom to improvise, to play, and then at the end, they will take so much, and they'll be so patient and so friendly and so nice. The last person nice like this I worked with was, as you remember, the Green Book.
Yeah, Green Book was, yeah. You were the were the cello player, right?
Peter Fairley, who, he works like that, but he's Peter Fairley. And this guy has such a huge experience. Those two were insane. Not to mention, we never had any argument on set ever. Their crew of students, which I still cannot thank enough, how everything was so organized, right on time, ready to go, with so much patience. Because this is a hard process. With floating camera, it's very hard to do. And we were pressed and tight for time. Please, everyone who is over 40, people, give room to those youngs. They know what they're doing. Don't try to teach them something you didn't do. They know what to do. Let the young people fly. They know more than we can even imagine. There is no way for me to express the pleasantry time that I had on the set for those 2 weeks. And, of course, my colleagues, my two friends, one of the funniest things in the movie, and, of course, my wonderful friend, the businessman, who was one of the greatest scenes ever. And we were all so afraid of the moment, how we're going to shoot this entire long scene in one shot. It happened. You know why? because those two young people had the faith. They set up the entire mood of the film, and they were always so patient. And for young people, that's a win. That's why you have this result.
Well, that's so great. And the film is Rope Tide. It has its world premiere next Saturday at 2:25 in the afternoon at the Hammer Theater, downtown San Jose, and then plays again Monday, March 16th at 12:20 at the Alamo Brew House in Mountain View, part of Cinequest. Listen, thank you both for being here. I wanted to give Kiara the last word here, because it's your world premiere coming up. You must be absolutely excited about this movie happening.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I'm ready for audiences to see it. The movie's not done until the audience sees it, and we want you guys to experience Rope Tide yourselves. So thank you so much for having us on, Demeter and I. It's been a pleasure, Rob. Thanks.
Well, thank you. And Mickey's hands are in the hostage position, so it's time to bid adieu to another edition of the Norman Bates Memorial Soundtrack Show. Next week, 3 more hours of soundtrack, show tunes, and television themes. All the music you've gradually grown to trust over the course of several generations. Get out and do some stuff this weekend. Always great things happening in the Bay Area. There's music, there's movies, there's museums. Even if all you do is get together with your friends and discuss the issues of the day, make sure you take advantage of everything that's available to us right here, right in our own backyard. Broadcasting from Foothill College, this is KFJC, Los Altos Hills. Coming up next is Carson Street and Dr. Doug and Black Violetta. And until next week, Robert Emmett saying, be single.
This is the house that Hal Johnson built about 10 years ago in Medford. It's just like thousands of other suburban houses, but it's home, and a happy one, to Ellen Johnson and Harold Jr. and little Barbara Ann and Hal Johnson, the Lord and Master. It doesn't just happen to be a happy home. It's that way because Hal, like the average American parent, works hard to keep it so. He's careful about the health of his children, and of the old man's too. It's not smart to have the breadwinner come down sick. And he's cautious about people getting hurt. Women will do the darndest things. A man has to lay down the law sometimes. But it's that growing boy that really keeps him hopping. Of course, you have to give a boy knives and tools, but you don't want him to cut an arm off. That knife is for fun, son, but you have to respect it. Always carve away from you. It's dangerous unless used properly. He's considerate of his fellow man, too. That's the way he was brought up. Give the other fellow a break. Live and let live. Hal plans for the future to the best of his ability. It takes some juggling of the figures to stretch the family budget for the most and wisest protection. And he may have to sacrifice some very desirable things. But even if he's not around to see it, his wife and kids will have security and education. But don't think that being a careful family man and a conscientious citizen keep Hal from having a good time. He's a crack shot, you know, and never fails to bring down his quota in season. And in keeping with his usual attitude toward things, his hunting manners are very good. His gun is always aimed where somebody isn't. Where there's a chance of a misfire, he eliminates that chance. A shotgun can be dangerous. If you're going to enjoy it and live, you have to respect it. Even though I've been building him up, I don't think Hal Johnson is a very unusual sort of a guy. He's just, well, the average American citizen and family man, the kind that are the backbone of the nation. I admire him and like him. I like his attitude. Until, that is, he gets behind the wheel of an automobile. At that point, he changes. He changes from a careful, considerate citizen to a menace.
Flying down the expressway, got someone in my way, I pass them by. They come up on my ass like they're ready to pass, hope they're ready to die. Get ready for a freeway, that ain't brake check. Glass burners in your eyes, say goodbye to your twisted neck. Get ready for a freeway, that ain't brake check. Fly out of your seat, kiss the street to your tape deck. Coming home from a party, had too much Bacardi, I'm taking 2 lanes. From behind comes a cop, tells me I gotta stop, good thing I'm insane. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Glass burners in your eyes, say goodbye to your twisted neck. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Fly out of your seat, kiss the street to your tape deck. I'm a homicidal maniac, I like to hear rubber squeal. I can step on the brakes, but I ain't got what it takes to steer it. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Fly out of your seat, kiss the street to your tape deck. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Glass splinters in your eyes, say goodbye to your twisted neck. When I'm playing down the freeway, I do whatever it takes. You take your life in your hands if you mess with me, might test my brakes. I'm the king of the highway, do everything my way, I'm licensed to kill. Driving too close behind me, it's like hitting a pine tree, hope you've written your will. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Glass splinters in your eyes, say goodbye to your twisted neck. Get ready for a freeway, fast lane brake check. Fly out of your seat, kiss the street to your tape deck. I'm a homicidal maniac, I like to hear rebel squeal. I can step on the brakes, but I ain't got what it takes to use the steering wheel.
It's a deadly weapon, far more deadly on the record than any gun. And yet, like a gun, if you want to use it, enjoy it, live and let live, you've got to respect that weapon under your hands. Driving laws are made to help you keep your...